Now it's time for Real Talk.
Real talk.
Are you ready?
Okay, Deacon, what are we talking about?
White privilege, white poverty.
White privilege, white poverty.
The failure to think and talk critically and candidly about white privilege and white poverty is a key threat to the United States of America, uncertain and democracy.
It's amazing how they don't want to talk about it.
Amen.
Whiteness frames one of America's most pressing collective challenges: the poor state of the nation's health, which lags behind other wealthy countries and is marred by deep and entrenched class and race-based inequalities.
The broad-scale remedy experts recommend demanding, but is short supply, trust, evidence, experts, government, and one another.
And this recommendation involves 3 key actions. First, advocate for intersectional health studies and reports that prevent one-dimensional portrayals of prevalent health issues as being solely black or white.
Second, there is the need for a critical consciousness about race and class.
And lastly, a call for wide-scale opportunities for Americans to engage in cross-racial and cross-class democratic conversations about their struggles and aspirations in search of common ground.
Amongst the many threats to America, perhaps the most serious is our inability to face them together. The democratic institutions, civic practice, and social values that enable a society to listen, learn, and find common ground are frayed by some accounts is broken.
So how can we build that ability? If cultural frames and social power set the terms and possibilities of civic learning and acting in common purpose, which culture frames and sources of power need to be interrogated?
One adequate response to these questions is the need to reckon with white privilege and white poverty. White privilege referred to the economics, political, culture, and the psychological advantages of whiteness.
Deflection, discomfort, and denial of such advantages have been called white fragility, considered by some to be widespread. White poverty is multidimensional, too, with economic, cultural, psychological, and symbolic facets.
Politicians, the press, the public have long ignored its poor white people may hide it too, for it is the source of a shame and stigma.
The problem of whiteness we describe refers to the realities of white privilege and poverty and their suppression. Suppression can occur intentionally. For example, when white people know yet ignore or actively approve of the advantages conferred by whiteness, or when politicians motivated by racial animus neglect white poverty to portray poverty as a problem of black and brown others.
It can also occur astutely when whiteness acts as an unstated standard against which others are compared and evaluated. The upper class interest in suppressing class awareness is also implicated, as are poor people selected by their merits, narratives about personal responsibilities.
Colorblind and post-racial discourses, bolstered by cherry-picked evidence, including the 2-term presidency of Barack Obama, also contribute.
Whiteness frames some of our most pressing democratic challenges, yet it mars in confusion. America doesn't know how to think straight about whiteness, nor what it means to be white.
Democratic engagement that gets people talking across boundaries of race and class, and especially talking about race and class, may also help resist white supremacist efforts to fill the void created by Americans' collective reluctance to acknowledge and talk critically about white privilege and white poverty.
So, My white brothers and my white sisters, don't be afraid to talk to somebody black. You'll be amazed that the same issue that bugs you also is our concern as well. So now, that's real talk.
Be sure to listen to us on the KWAY Digital Broadcast app, KWAY-DB, and guess what?
It is free.
Yes, it is. And online at www.kwaygospel.com. And we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean Podcasts.
So please don't miss your blessings.
We'll look forward to you listening to Real Talk.